Ave Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
Before I get into the homily, I would just like to speak a little bit about where the sign of peace has been in the last year or so. It was agreed upon by the American bishops that it would be suppressed for COVID issues. However, in many places it's been lifted, but Bishop Labashi has insisted on keeping it in place. And I want to explain why. Okay. First of all, there's still a degree of caution for COVID as far as he's concerned, but also the sign of peace takes place just after what we call the fraction, or just before we call the fraction rite, where the priest breaks the host. A few years ago, the Vatican was concerned that the sign of peace was getting too much emphasis while what was happening at the altar was going unnoticed. And so Bishop Labashi decided he wanted to keep the sign of peace suppressed here so that we become a little bit more attentive of what's going on at the altar. The fraction rite is where the host is broken, and it's symbolic as the one, Jesus, the one broken for distribution to the many, and the many make up the one body of Christ. So it's a sign of, from the one, many are fed, and from the many pieces, there's one body in the church. Do you understand? And so there's some deep theology here, but it's also about what's going on at the altar that is something that is important. And so it's time for us to meditate on that and look at that. So I ask you again, please, to refrain from the sign of peace. It's also not time to turn around to everybody and do this. It's time to really look at the altar and see what's going on there. Okay.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquam meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit, alleluia, ora pro nobis Deum, alleluia.